what does it mean for you guys, you veterans? I know you have no control over the situation at quarterback, but you're obviously monitoring how Jordan is progressing. So today, a lot of nice throws. There seemed to be a lot of energy around him, positive energy from players. What does that mean, even though we're only in June?
Well, that means, honestly, that guys are in the playbook. Guys are taking the coaching that they're receiving in meetings and they're transitioning that onto the field. Anybody's success on the field is not just about one guy. It's about all 11, all 22 guys and all the coaching staff that put all the time in to basically get guys prepared to be able to go out there and to compete.
Let's just keep it going, Billy, until everybody meanders back over. I think Coach just wrapped up. So juggling on the offensive line, it's nice to see David back out there. What do you think of the other moving parts right now? We know you've done it. What do you think about the guys who are maybe doing it now more often because of Dave's situation?
Well, I mean, I think anybody that, is added to our roster or that is on our roster now will be able to look at last year and realize that just because you're an offensive lineman, you played this position on another team or in college, or you played whatever position last year, that doesn't mean that that's the position you're going to play on this team or on any team at all. You can never predict the future and you can never predict what's going to happen day to day. And our coaches do a great job of, kind of letting us know last second as we're getting out onto the field what position we're going to be playing for that day. And that really makes you have to focus on meetings at all the details at every position to understand the actual scheme that's being installed and that we're actually running, because you never know what position you could end up at any given time.
Is that daunting for young guys? You got a bunch of them now over the last 2 years. You brought in a lot of young guys that might be experiencing what you just talked about for the first time.
I wonder if they're trying to tell us something, bringing in all these young guys. Is it daunting? Maybe, but to be completely honest with you, when you make that transition from college to the NFL, just an NFL playbook in itself is a little bit hard to grasp. So being able to teach guys an actual concept, in my opinion, could potentially help them out on the field a little bit more than just focusing on that one position. Would you rather kind of as a whole move together and understand the whole scheme and all 5 positions, or just focus on one and then get to a point in time where we're coming out first game of the season, you got to play a different position. You have no idea what the hell you're doing, So that's kind of why I give credit to the coaching staff and the team on that one, is because they prepare us for all of these positions. They teach the scheme. They don't teach the position.
Hey, this might have blended into your last question, but, with obviously Corey gone now, Dave's in the rehab. How do you sort of view that leadership role in the room? Is that something that comes naturally to you, or what do you like most about, kind of being that vet now with these guys?
I mean, to be completely honest with you, nothing has changed for me. I'm not going to act any different than I've acted the last 2 years this year just because somebody is not in the room. I'm approaching the situation no different than I've approached the last 2 years, and that is to continue to learn and to grasp this scheme and to help these young players whenever I get a chance to help them. That's not going to change for me.
Wes, if you have a follow-up, you can go ahead.
Yeah, one other thing I want to ask you too, Billy. I know last year you had a lot going on, for a variety of different stuff, starting with COVID and obviously the social justice stuff. What was this offseason like for you? And I know with the way you expanded some of your brand and your companies, what were sort of the big projects you were working on?
I focused a lot on public immunity, my personal brand this offseason. We had some different pop-ups at the Urban Outfitters in Uptown in Minneapolis, and we just worked on this kind of the next gallery, the next exhibit that we're going to be kind of debuting going into this next year. But I mean, to be completely honest with you, this offseason for me was different for a variety of reasons. I wasn't on social media. I transitioned in December to allow my employees and my staff to kind of take control of my personal social media and also the company's social media. So that transition for me off of social media was big because it just allowed me to focus on myself a little bit more and to allow myself to be able to grow a little bit more as a person.
Billy, if I can follow up on that too, was that a conscious decision you made to step away a little bit from that, or was that just something that just sort of happened and you just went with it, with as far as social media?
I mean, it was a little bit of both. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bagging on social media or anything like that. I think it's great in doses and it's great for certain industries and in certain areas. I'd been on social media for a number of years, and I mean, my following is my following. That does help my business out, so to speak, but I don't need to be around it. It's not necessarily adding anything to me personally as a man and as a human on this planet. And with everything going on, I just felt like it was the right time for me to step away from that.
With your company, what's been the most rewarding part of that? Whether it's what you guys have accomplished and how you've kind of reached out to people, or just from creating that and seeing it sort of flourish now.
Just being able to see people's reaction to the pieces. Just, as you grow as a football player or as a football team, it's the same in any other industry. As you grow and you see people start to vibe and start to kind of take notice to your line and to your business, it's a comforting feeling, just because people are actually out there and they actually do understand what you're trying to do as a business. So it allows you to know that, kind of from a different perspective, on the outside looking in or on the inside looking out, that you are doing things that people are actually taking a hold of.
All right. Wes, do you have one more question? Sorry.
Yeah, if you don't mind,
Keep
Katie,
going.
sorry.
Go for it.
Billy, for training wise, did you do pretty much your same regimen in Minneapolis there, or how did you handle, just preparing for this to come back?
Yeah, I focused no different than I'd have the last 7 years going into this 8th year. I kind of know what I have to do. I focus on my body, I focus on the rehab, and I build up into the approach of the season to basically be able to get into the season and to propel me through these now 17 weeks that we're going to have to navigate through and then into the playoffs.